morning, YouTube family. This is Kristen from Growing Zone 9B. I'm so excited that you guys are here on this journey with me. Thank you for coming to another video and spending some time with me. I love it. I love that you guys watch this. I hope that you're inspired to start growing. Betty is here with me. As always, my little angel girl is here. She is amazing. I love having her be a part of these videos. Hopefully you guys do as well. Put down in the comments if you love seeing Betty in these videos. Also subscribe and like. You guys know that. So thanks for jumping in on this video, joining me, spending some time with me. I'm so excited today. Today I feel like we should talk about seed saving. I know that I'm not really big on seed saving, because here's what it is I get super excited about looking at new seeds. So it's not the fact that I'm like, oh yeah, let's just spend a lot of money. No, that's definitely not it. I just get super excited to see the new catalogs and see what's out there. And then I just get caught up in buying seeds, and it's just super fun. And, you know, it gets me hyped about the new garden year. But I feel like we do need to talk about seed saving. I think it is something that I'm going to probably invest more interest in and take more time out to do. Sometimes when you have smaller gardens like me, and you're just trying to do a little home gardening, it can be difficult to seed save, because you have to let your plant literally flower and then go to actual seed, and then you have to dry those seeds out so that you can store them for the upcoming season when you're going to use them. So yesterday I was out in the garden. Of course I didn't take the camera with me, so I apologize guys for that, but I started picking some of the little scrawny cabbages that we had. I'm trying to clean out one of the beds, which I probably need to take you guys on that with me so that you can see that process when we go to, you know, recultivate that area. I did buy some black cow just because, like you guys know, that I'm in a subdivision. So unfortunately, I'm not a homesteader. I don't necessarily have access to you know, some good manure to integrate into our grow bed, so I do have to buy it. I try to avoid that kind of stuff, but in all honesty, I feel like at this point the importance of growing food is kind of starting to outweigh the reality of, you know, always trying to buy outside compost and being reliant on that. At least I know with the black cow that if something happens, I have a resource to go back to. As you guys know, in one of my grow beds, it looks like we might have gotten some grays on, and so this just comes from a local buyer that we get our resources from, and so I was trusting what they were actually saying was compost, and I'm beginning to really question that. That bed is very stunted. A lot of the plants are dying. I was thinking that maybe it could also be that there's high nitrogen, but I'm not convinced of that. Like I said, if anything, we may end up just scraping out that bed. I thought I was going to try to get it tested, but I honestly don't have time for that. I want to get growing in that bed, so I think we're probably just going to try to clear it out the best we can and start over. So we'll see. I'm not so interested in focusing on that bed, especially in this video. I really want to talk about the importance of seed saving. So as you can see here, these poor little sad cabbages, that's the thing about growing, is sometimes you get to harvesting, and I left these out, and we have such high humidity that they just look super sad now. These were small little heads anyway. It's the end of season. So what I think I'm actually going to do today with these is I'm probably going to maybe make some coleslaw, or I might end up doing like a ferment, like a cabbage ferment. So we'll see. But keep that in mind when you're growing, is that you have to harvest this stuff and you've got to try to find time to be able to make something with it. So that's why I say don't overgrow, especially if you're basically the only person that's eating it. Like, my fiance is not going to eat cabbage. He's just not going to do it. So he doesn't like it. He doesn't like a lot of vegetables. But I mean, it's okay because the rest of my family does like it. So I share with my mom and my dad and my nephews and you know, my neighbors and stuff. But for these cabbage heads, I think I'm gonna go ahead and maybe make some sauerkraut or something with them. So let's get back to seed saving. So when I was cleaning out that cabbage area, there were some dicot radishes. Like, look at my hand compared to the rest of this radish. I mean, I can put 2 of my hands around this radish, and as you guys can see, there's still quite a bit of this radish that's actually left. These are massive radishes. This is an Asian radish, from my understanding, a dicot radish. And so I think I originally got these seeds from Baker's Creek. I'm fairly confident of that because that was the first time that I saw dicots. And here's like a little thick one. It's just maybe like 2 hands. But still, I mean, that's a massive radish. When you're used to getting those little red radishes or the like French breakfast, you're gonna have these small little radishes that are just maybe like 2/4, or maybe like, I don't know if y'all remember, I'm probably like dating myself at this point, but they used to make those like dollar coins. And yeah, so maybe it's about that size. If you're lucky, you'll get that. So I really like these radishes. They work really well if you're making something like kimchi. I like to add it into the kimchi because it gives it a nice little spice. Or, you know, you can add it into your fire ciders. So they're really good because they're huge. And if you do like pickling or fermenting of the radishes, then you definitely want a big radish, that you're not just taking these little baby radishes and just cutting them. You've got this massive radish that you can just put into your products. So what I did was I actually just let this go to seed because I do actually like it. And I think, like I said, you know, in this day and age, it's really difficult to know what seeds are going to be available. So let's talk about this. I left these go to flower. Let's pick one of these because the bees were loving it. I've taken some videos with the bees being around this plant. They absolutely love these little beautiful flowers. They are pretty. They kind of have this lavender, light lavender purple accent to them. They're super just beautiful to look at. I like having them in the garden, so I let these go on to seed. Now, look at this. So here are what the pods look like. So it's about the size of my index finger on average. That's what you're looking at. And look how many I have on this table. Like, there are just tons here. Look, we have there are just tons of them. These are hundreds and hundreds of seeds in these pods that came off of these. I have maybe 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 8 that I kept in the ground, and I mean, they're just all over. Like, seed saving with these are super easy. So these little pods are kind of like a green bean pod. And what you need to do is, right now they have these little green seeds in them because I haven't let these pods dry. I just picked them yesterday because we have high humidity here. Sorry, there's a boat going by on the lake. A ski boat. So what? Always something. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take these little pods and I'm going to let them dry in the house because, like I said, here in Florida we have really high humidity, and so unfortunately if I leave these out here, what's gonna happen is they're probably gonna rot and they're gonna wilt and they're not gonna look very pretty. So the best way for me to dry them is to keep them in a cool place. So if you have a cool, dark place in your house that's well ventilated, because you want to get that circulation in to be pulling out the moisture of these pods, that's what I recommend. Now, a lot of seed, they come this way. So if you're, obviously if you have a pepper, your seeds are going to be in the inside of that pepper. If you have a like nasturtium out there, they have these little pods that will develop on them, and they look like a larger pea, or maybe pea-sized pod, and that's what you're going to use to replant the next year. I've let those nasturtiums just die, and then I go back and I look for those little pea-sized pods. But the easiest type of seed saving is when they're already in a pea-like pod for you, or some type of pod or shelling, so that way you can just go ahead and let these dry out, and then you're just gonna pop these open, and then you're just gonna like pop these little green seeds out. I'll take a couple of them. I don't know if you guys will be able to actually see that, but they're just super tiny little pearls that you will let, when they're dry, you will take them out, and then you can just put them in a container of some sort for seed saving purposes. I have tried to put the fresh seeds in the ground, and for whatever reason they don't seem to work as well for me. So I don't know if there's some type of processing when it comes to drying them that they develop better, but personally I've not been able to get them to start from the fresh seed. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's a moisture thing, I don't know what's going on, but honestly I think it's probably the weather, if I'm being honest, because by the time that these go to seed, they're obviously already bolting because it's getting so hot here. I do grow my dicot radishes in the fall because that's just when they do best. Most of Florida gardening, at least from Orlando down south to Miami, your best growing season, from my personal experience, is really going to be in the cooler months. So you're talking like okay, so you're talking like the months of September, October, November, December. You can go right into January, some of February, March, but expect that potentially towards, I would say, April, May, and June. Those are in July. August and July are probably our most just scorching months. It's so hot and so warm, and you just like, literally the further south you go, the more you're just like at the beach, or you're enjoying the water, because it's so very, very, very hot here. So I hope that some of this information has encouraged you guys to seed save, because it is easy. If you have the space, go ahead and do it. But like I said, for me, I'm just a small hometown little gardener. I don't, I'm not producing on a massive scale. I'd like to be at some point, but right now, like I always try to encourage you guys, is just do what you can where you are. And if that means that you have to buy seeds, then go ahead and buy the seeds. Whatever it takes to get you guys growing and knowing what works in your area, I think is extremely important. So just give it a try. Like I said, if you've got a little bit of space, then go ahead and let stuff go to seed and just see what happens. But if you don't have that as an opportunity, then of course buy your seeds, so that way you can get out there and you can just be enjoying the goodness of this earth, and the potential of just eating from garden to table is absolutely wonderful and amazing. I ate some tomatoes yesterday because our tomatoes are starting to come in, and they were so good. I never get a chance to like get out there with the camera before, honestly, I see them and I get excited, and I just start picking them off the plant and just eating them because they're so delicious. So guys, get out there, get planting, love one another, treat animals with love and kindness, and just be the light in the world. Try to be kind to everyone that you meet. I know sometimes it's really difficult and situations just inflict certain emotions. But if there's one thing that I have learned in my years of just living is, life is short and you never know what's going to happen in the world. And, love your neighbor, love each other, and put God first. So hopefully you guys will come back and join me again in the future for our next video. We're